Hello, welcome to the next section, restructuring data into a tidy form. In this section, we will start by tidying variables as column names with stack and melt. Then we will stack multiple groups of variables simultaneously, invert stacked data and unstack after a group by aggregation. Then we will replicate pivot table with a group by aggregation and rename access levels for easy reshaping. We will perform tidying in multiple scenarios, for example, when multiple variables are stored as column names and values, when two or more values are stored in the same cell, when variables are stored in column names and values, and when multiple observational units are stored in the same table. We will now start with the first video, tidying variable values as column names. In this video, we use the stack method to restructure our data frame into tidy form. There are many terms that are used to describe the process of data restructuring, with tidy data being the most common to data scientists. Tidy data is a term coined by Hadley Wickham to describe a form of data that makes analysis easy to do. To learn a great deal more about tidy data, read Hadley's paper at this link. To help understand the differences between tidy and messy data, let's take a look at a simple table that may or may not be in tidy form. Let's take a look at state fruit data. You can see here there does not appear to be anything messy about this table, and the information is easily consumable. However, according to the tidy principles, it isn't actually tidy. Each column name is actually the value of a variable. In fact, none of the variable names are even present in the data frame. One of the first steps to transform a messy dataset into tidy data is to identify all the variables. In this particular dataset, we have variables for state and fruit. There's also the numeric data that wasn't identified anywhere in the context of the problem. We can label this variable as weight or any other sensible name. This particular messy dataset contains variable values as column names. We will need to transpose these column names into column values. First, take note that the state names are in the index of the data frame. These states are correctly placed vertically and do not need to be restructured. It is the column names that are the problem. We will use the stack method with this line of code. The stack method takes all of the column names and reshapes them to be vertical as a single index level, so they become the new innermost index level. Notice how each column name still labels its original value by being paired with each state. There were 9 original values in a 3x3 data frame, which got transformed into a single series with the same number of values. The original first row of data became the first 3 values in the resulting series. Notice that we now have a series with a multi-index. There are now 2 levels in the index. The original index has been pushed to the left to make room for the old column names. With this one command, we now essentially have tidy data. Each variable, state, fruit, and weight is vertical. Let's use the reset index method to turn the result into a data frame. After resetting the index, Pandas defaults our data frame columns to level 0, level 1, and 0. This is because the series calling this method has 2 index levels that were formerly unnamed. Pandas also refers to indexes by integer, beginning from 0 from the outside. Our structure is now correct, but the column names are meaningless. Let's replace them with proper identifiers, state, fruit, and weight. You can simply set new columns for the entire data frame by setting the columns attribute equal to a list. Instead of directly changing the columns attribute, it's possible to use the lesser-known series method rename access to set the names of the index levels before using reset index. So, do that with these lines. You can see that the axes are renamed as state and fruit. From here, we can simply chain the reset index method with the name parameter to reproduce the output from the previous step. All series have a name attribute that can be set directly or with the rename method. It is this attribute that becomes the column name when using the reset index. After running this, you will see the same output as from the previous step. That's it for this video.